And of course, Frank Beamer in his 25th season as the head coach at Virginia Tech. Beamer and the Hokies last year, of course, stumbled out of the gates, losing their first 2 games, but then ripped off 10 wins and got to a BCS game, won the ACC championship. Tony Gregory and David Wilson are deep.
Real short.
And this one will be fielded right on the sideline. That's a gamble there by Chase Williams. But Williams caught it, and he's out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Now, Boston College won the toss. They deferred. They wanted their defense on the field to open up this football game. Now, with Logan Thomas coming out on the field, he's a guy that can make you pay for a decision like that. The sophomore has been splendid. He has accounted for 9 touchdowns in his last 2 games. A come from behind win on the road against Wake Forest his last time out. An empty backfield, 5-receiver look, flags are down. Thomas throws a dart that's incomplete. Jarrett Boykin, the intended receiver. Hampton Hughes with the hit in the backfield, and we'll see what the flag is. It's right on the line of scrimmage.
It would be a formation or offside.
Illegal formation against the offense. 5 men in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Tom Zamorski is our referee. The ACC crew here. Frank Beamer with the headsets on. Now, the other storyline here is that Virginia Tech, Keith, has had a tendency.
Second down.
They're going to decline the penalty. They've had a tendency, the Hokies have, not to get off to great starts this year.
And emblematic here in their first play from scrimmage. Can't get lined up properly, and you're exactly right. They've been down in the first parts of the last 2 ball games and had to rally back.
Frank Spaziani would rather have the down than the 5 yards, so it's 2nd and 10 instead of 1st and 15. Shotgun for Thomas. Back to the air he goes. Dumps it out to Wilson, and he's blown up at the 26-yard line. My goodness. Kevin Pierre-Louis made the stop. This is a veteran offensive line on a very young team. Our Toyota starting lineups, the offensive line for Virginia Tech. Andrew Lanier, a very good left tackle. Boykin is the favorite target for Thomas. 27 catches and 3 touchdowns. He is a senior. Great hands out of Charlotte. He and Danny Cole are 2 very good wide receivers for the Hokies. 3rd down and 5. Ball to 27. Option look. Thomas will keep. Hit right at the sticks at the 31-yard line. Kevin Pierre-Louis with his 2nd tackle of the game. And that's going to be short of the first down. And we'll see if Virginia Tech is going to punt. Here's the defense brought to you by Toyota. Max Holloway up front. Now, everybody talks about Luke Kuechly, but Kevin Pierre-Louis is 7th in the ACC in tackles. He's now got 58 on this season. Jim Noel at 1 corner. It's a secondary that will be tested. Michael Brandhover will punt it away, and Bobby Swigert is deep for Boston College. So the decision to defer and go on defense looks like a good one right now for the Eagles.
And remember, too, that Virginia Tech went, I believe, their first 3 series against Wake.
38 in the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Back this one up 5 yards, but went their first 3 series 3 and out against Wake Forest. They're starting the same way here.
Wake Forest built a 10-0 lead before Virginia Tech ran off 28 consecutive points. There's Branthover. So barring a 55 or a 60-yard punt, Boston College is going to get great field position. And this is a major shank job that goes over the Virginia Tech bench and is going to be marked at the 35-yard line. Wow. Frank Beamer, who in his 25 years has always been known for great special teams. Just watch Michael Branthover cut loose with a 9-yard punt.
And Branthover is the 2nd punter on the year. They started with Scott Demler. He only averaged about 33 yards per punt. Branthover's come in and performed quite well, but he just almost completely misses this one.
right, now let's see what Boston College can do with this field position. Virginia Tech 35. Andre Williams gets the ball, and he's going to lose a yard on his first carry. Good play up front. Luther Maddie, the true freshman, made the stop up front. Up front for Boston College, our Toyota starting lineups. John Wetzel anchors an offensive line that's given up 14 sacks this year. Bobby Swigert, terrific hands, 30 catches. Had a touchdown catch against Clemson in his last time out.
One thing to pay attention to, Rich, with Boston College is how do they handle the noise.
And the pass rush. Reddick steps up, dumps it off. It's caught there. That's Larmond. He's to the 5, and he's down to the 2. Colin Larmond, and a terrific job by Chase Reddick to step through the pocket and find that second level.
You'll see Reddick, and he does just that, Rich. He steps up, and instead of pulling it down and taking off, he gets his eyes upfield, sees Larmond, 23rd catch on the year for Colin, averages 17 yards per catch, and he very nearly gets into the end zone.
35 yards on the throw, and Boston College is at the 2-yard line.
They have struggled to score touchdowns here, Rich.
Rolandon Finch in the backfield, and it's Reddick who dives, and he's in. Touchdown, Boston College.
Made it look too easy. Great call.
Sophomore quarterback gets in, and 66,000 who were so primed for homecoming to start are stunned right now.
Great zone read by Reddick that time. He doesn't run the ball very much. His first rushing touchdown on the year for Chase.
Nate Freeze with the extra point. It is up. It is good. Boston College felt they had something to prove coming in, and so far they've made a quick statement. 7-0. Thanks, Andre. 7-0 Boston College. A quick start. A good defensive stop. They got the ball back. Chase Reddick to Colin Larmond. A 35-yard throw to get it down to the 2, and Reddick takes it in. And Boston College, who has had a extra week to prepare for this ball game, has a 7-0 lead. Wilson and Gregory are deep. Ryan Quigley puts his foot into it, and it's Gregory at his 6. Cuts back to the 32-yard line. Not only was it a 3-and-out stop for the defense for Boston College, but remember, it was a 9-yard punt by Virginia Tech, and that set the whole sequence up. So right back out comes Logan Thomas, one of the biggest quarterbacks you'll find in the country, 6'6", 254, out of Lynchburg, Virginia. A 3-sport star, great basketball player, great track star, and a terrific football player, though a reluctant quarterback. And he hands it off to David Wilson. Wilson over the left side, and he's hit. You can see the emotion on the Boston College sideline right now. They have come out very much fired up, even before the kickoff, and now that they're up 7-0, you could just see it on that sideline.
Well, when we talked with Coach Spaziani during the week, it's basically they're starting a new season. That 1-5, those 6 games, that's last year, so to speak. They had a bye week. This is a new year, and they're taking it with a new attitude.
Remember, they did that last year. They opened 2-5 and then finished at 7-6. Thomas will keep it, and he's out to the 38-yard line. Kevin Pierre-Louis making another tackle. That's 3 tackles already by Pierre-Louis. I mean, you've got 2 linebackers, Luke Kuechly and Kevin Pierre-Louis, who have combined for about 150 50 tackles on the season.
And Pierre Lewis is probably the best thing that's come along for Luke Kuechly, because you can't just design to get two peoples on 40 anymore, because 24 is going to be right there to clean up if you don't get a hat on him.
David Wilson in the backfield, 3rd down and 4. Thomas to throw, and he overthrows his man. It's incomplete. Thomas took a hit. Josh Keys from his linebacker spot came up with a clean hit on Thomas, and another 3 and out for Virginia Tech.
Bill McGovern, the defensive coordinator for BC, not afraid to dial up some pressure.
Well, let's see. Michael Branthover's first effort wasn't a good one. The freshman shanked it for a 9-yard punt. Bobby Swigert is back at his own 20-yard line. This a line drive kick, and Swigert makes the fair catch at the 25. Boston College will have it at their own 25-yard line. They've got a 7-0 lead on the road. Homecoming at Virginia Tech. ACC College Football Saturday. Boy, what an entrance it was. Metallica was cranked up. Enter Sandman. Everybody was jumping around. The Hokies roared onto the field. It's homecoming. And yet Boston College has come out and taken a 7-0 lead. And they have the football at their own 25-yard line. Chase Redding turns and hands it off to Rolandon Finch. Kyle Fuller made the stop. Virginia Tech's defense 2nd overall in the ACC behind Florida State, but Foster's lunch pail there on the sideline. Up front, great pressure off the edge from James Gale and J.R. Collins, our Toyota starting lineups. Got to have a good man in the middle, and they do. The junior, Bruce Taylor, he leads the team in tackles, also has 3 sacks. Now, Jaron Hosley is out at corner. Derek Bonner gets the start at the corner for Virginia Tech. So they lose one of the best cover men in the ACC. Redding to the air, and that one is flat out dropped. And you rarely see Bobby Swigert drop a pass like this.
Well, here's what happened last time that BC had the ball. Great decision by Redding to look upfield, finds Larmont, and then a little zone option quarterback keeper. Zone option read with the QB, getting his first rushing touchdown of the year.
It's a Boston College offense that at times has clicked, at other times they've struggled. And that's kind of been an overall symptom from this Eagle team. 3rd down 9. In and out of the hands of the intended receiver. And it was Bobby Swigert again. Antone Exum on the coverage for Virginia Tech. And so the Hokies will get the football back. Ryan Quigley will come on to punt.
And if you're Bud Foster, defensive coordinator for Virginia Tech, offense gives the ball to the opponent, very short field. You do give up the touchdown. The next best thing you want to do is come in and create a 3 and out on your own.
Danny Cole was just there in your picture. That's a look at Quigley, the Boston College punter.
Virginia Tech loves to block punts. Quigley has not had one blocked this year. Let's see if they go after it or they set up the return.
Gets the punt away, and a high wobbler, a fair catch called for, and Cole makes the fair catch. It's a 39-yard punt. Drive now for Virginia Tech. They've gone 3 and out on their first 2 possessions. Logan Thomas, pocket collapses. He scrambles towards the sideline, cuts back, and is caught and dropped. Luke Kuechly made the stop. And I'll tell you right now, Boston College is getting some pretty good shots on Logan Thomas.
And what they're doing is they're rushing up the middle and forcing him back to the outside. And this time Thomas pulls it down. One thing you'll notice about the big guy from Virginia is he does not slide. He is not your typical running quarterback. He stays upright like a Cam Newton or a Tebow and tries to get extra yardage.
And a lot of his runs are power runs, runs between the tackles. So Thomas gains 3 at 2nd and 7 to the air again. This time he's on the mark. It's Cole. across midfield. Danny Cole down to the 43-yard line. Sean Sylvia on the coverage for Boston College. Cole, 33 catches, the leading receiver for Virginia Tech.
Well, I think Thomas checked to this, saw coverage different than he anticipated, went to the slant. Cole Rich is playing in his 49th ball game at Virginia Tech. He's caught a pass in 45 of the 49.
Two splendid senior wide receivers in Jared Boykin and Danny Cole. You got DJ Coles and Marcus Davis, a couple of juniors who are good targets as well. This is Wilson trying to bust loose. Boston College has done a nice job of containing him. Manny Asperia with the stop for the Eagles.
And a good job by Asperia. He had big Greg Nozel, the left guard, coming right at him. Was able to elude him and then get low enough and underneath enough to make the tackle.
As Jen Hildreth said, David Wilson is a big play guy. Wilson has been over 100 yards in 6 of the 7 Virginia Tech games so far this year.
And he'll go Rich with 2-yard, 3-yard, 4-yard, 3-yard, and then it'll go 60.
2nd and 7, play action. Thomas, lots of time. Great throw, caught at the 20. That's DJ Coles, the junior. And that's a first down for Virginia Tech.
Coles finally, according to the Virginia Tech staff, healthy. He's going to be working all the way across here. Great patience by Logan to wait for him to clear the last linebacker. And then, as you called, he threw a dart to number 18.
Hokies on the move, just outside the Boston College 12. Thomas with time, wide open, caught, incomplete. Boykin did not get the foot down. There was nobody near him. And I think Boykin may have lost track of where the sideline was.
You and I would look at that and say, how in the world would he know he was close to the sideline? But these receivers just do. And I think you're right, Rich. He was so wide open, and clearly right there, the first foot lands out of bounds. He just lost track of that spatial orientation. He'd love to have that one back.
You can see he made no attempt to tightrope or tippy toe or get a foot down. 2nd and 10. Wilson behind Logan Thomas. Virginia Tech on the move. Boston College blitzes right into the blitz. Wilson bounces it outside, and he's caught and dropped at the 10-yard line.
Normal back Rich would have been tackled at the line of scrimmage, but you're looking at a guy right there that runs a 4.29 40. He plants that foot and heads back outside, and they catch up to him eventually, but not before he picks up 2 or 3.
Sean Sylvia caught him at another 3rd down right now for Frank Beamer's Hokies.
And Tech has struggled somewhat in the red zone too, Rich. 36 trips down there. They've only scored 21 touchdowns. That's 58% conversion for 7.
Logan Thomas doesn't like what he sees.
Timeout, Virginia Tech.
He's going to burn a timeout.
First charge time out of the half.
So Boston College has scored first here. Virginia Tech is on the move and on the doorstep, facing a 3rd down when we get back. Homecoming in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech, the Hokies 12th in the BCS standings right now at 6-1. But early on, it's been Boston College, a 7-0 lead for the BC Eagles. Virginia Tech, 7th play of this drive. It sits just inside the Boston College 9. 3rd down. They can get a first if they can get to the 3, and Thomas has to throw it quickly, and it's incomplete. Steele DeVito came charging in and hit him. The Hokies are now 0 of 3 on 3rd down, and they're going to have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Empty backfield, no opportunity for max protect. You bring pressure from the side that forces Thomas to throw the ball a couple of beats quicker than he would like to.
Well, we've seen all 3 linebackers make big plays. Pierre Lewis, Keekly, and now DeVito. 26 yards for Cody Jornell. And his kick is up and good. And Virginia Tech is on the board. But you got to feel like if you're Boston College, pretty good, that you stiffened up and you stopped them.
You took a shot to the jaw, and it was followed up by one to the body, but you didn't fall down. You held your own. By the way, as a side note, Jornell now has kicked 1 field goal in all 8 games.
Yeah, he's 8 of 11. Let's go to our Buick video ball. Now, these two teams have matched up through history in some great ball games. Back in 2007, the Eagles were down 10-0. Matt Ryan got hot. Successful onside kick. Ryan took control, and it was a shocker in Blacksburg. BC beat number 8 Virginia Tech 14-10. The ironic thing there is that they would meet later in the season in the ACC championship game. In fact, these two teams met 2 years in a row in the ACC championship team, or in the ACC championship game, I should say. 07 in Jacksonville. Virginia Tech won that one. 08 in Tampa, and Virginia Tech won that one as well.
When Virginia Tech gets to the championship game, they very rarely stumble.
Hokies will kick it off for the first time. Spiffy Evans from the goal line. Evans hit at the 18, stays on his feet, and gets out to the 29-yard line. Since coming into the ACC from the Big East, and they were rivals in the Big East, since coming into the ACC, both these schools have had a lot of success, Keith.
Well, and as I just mentioned, 3 wins in the last 3 times they visited the ACC championship game, and this is a program that maybe doesn't get the notoriety or the publicity simply because of where they're located. But if you're a college football fan, and particularly college football coach, you know all about the Hokies in Blacksburg.
Now Reddick is on the run, and he hits Alex Amadon out to the 40-yard line. Amadon with an 11-yard pickup. And Reddick has thrown the ball well when he's been flushed from the pocket. Remember, he hit Colin Larmon for that 35-yarder, which set up the only touchdown of the ball game.
And would point out, this is the first time Reddick has played Virginia Tech. He did not play in the game last year at Chestnut Hill. Shinsky got the start and played the entire contest. So this is the first time Reddick has had the opportunity to see this Bud Foster defense.
Reddick is a sophomore. Andre Williams up the middle. Now we need to address the fact that Montel Harris is injured and out for the season. They are appealing for a medical red shirt for the great running back, and it looks like they will get it for next year. Also, Taj Kimball is out, so it's Rolandon Finch and Andre Williams that will be carrying the ball for Boston College.
And Williams is coming off of shoulder surgery in the spring, and he's been battling a sore foot here in the 2011 campaign.
At the 42, and 2nd and 10, Reddick flushed and drops. And the goal is a sack. Derek Hopkins got to him. With as much speed as Virginia Tech has on the edge in Collins and Gale, that means Hopkins and Maddie will get a lot of shots like this.
And it's pressure up the middle that is going to be most effective against Reddick. As you mentioned, those 2 outside guys, and Collins and Gale, can get upfield. They'll force Reddick into those big boys in the middle if they're paying attention.
And both of his completions, he's been forced into the middle. 3rd down and 12. Reddick has lots of time. Deflected. Wow, Larmon's initially had it, and then Anton Exum and Chris Hill met right at Larmon.
Keep your eye on number 1 right here. He's going to be the one that ends up making the play. He works back outside and just puts that shoulder right into the chest of Larmon and jars that ball out.
That's Anton Exum, the sophomore. You know, we always point out when a player on a helmet-to-helmet hit doesn't have proper form. Exum had outstanding form on that. He led with the shoulder, and it was a jarring hit. Quigley's punt, fair catch called for and made by Danny Cole at the 15-yard line. 44-yard punt for Boston College. 7-3, BC on top. 4.5 minutes left here in the first quarter. Rich Waltz along with Keith Jones and Jen Hildreth in a ball game in which Virginia Tech is trying to keep the momentum going. Their wins over Miami and Wake Forest after the loss at home to Clemson. And Boston College, their last opponent was Clemson. Down in Clemson, they lost 36-14. And that was a game that was closer than the score indicated. Another carry for Thomas. So far, Boston College done a nice job of containing the Virginia Tech quarterback.
Well, this time Logan chooses to keep the ball. Kevin Pierre-Louis again in on the tackle. Big number 3 right there. He's not going to wow you with his quickness or his agility, so to speak. And it does take him a while to get started, but with those big long strides, he can eat up some ground once he gets to the second level.
You saw Brian Steinspring, the offensive coordinator for Virginia Tech. Thomas flushed, running, and making players miss as he goes. Kuechly finishes him off. That's after an 8-yard pickup and a first down for Logan Thomas.
That'll give you a little indication right there. And I guess Thomas was a little agitated with my comment about not having moves, so to speak, because he makes a nice one right there to get just enough for the first down.
Well, remember, Brian Steinspring told us yesterday he's quicker than you think. And at 6'6", 254, when you've got the quicks and an arm like he's got, you're a real weapon. At the 27, play action. Thomas, lots of time. His throw to the sideline. It's Cole, a diving catch at the 42.
And unless you've been on the field and unless you've tried to throw this ball, you have no idea how difficult this pass is. This is the long out. This is the 15 to 17-yard out from the left hash all the way to the right sideline. And that ball had some juice on it.
Exactly 15 yards on the pickup. It's a 15-yard pickup, but about a 30-yard throw. Thomas again, this time down the middle, and it's incomplete. It was overthrown. Cole was the intended receiver. Dominique Williams, from his safety spot, closed on the receiver. Had he not closed, he would have had an easy interception.
And I'm not so sure that Thomas didn't see him at the last minute and just let that pass elevate and get out of the way.
So it's second down and 10.
As the game develops, continue to watch Logan Thomas and his comfort level of throwing the ball over the middle. Because of that height, he gets a real good look.
Here comes a blitz. Thomas gets rid of it quickly. Cole on a bubble screen up the sideline. He's banged out of bounds. Donnie Fletcher. Well, that's good work by the Boston College defense. They sent everyone up the middle, and they had the bubble screen covered.
A great job by Sylvia to just jump on his horse from his safety position, take a great angle, and actually get in on the tackle for only a slight or small pickup.
Keith, one of the things you told me before the ball game, the importance for Boston College to stay away from the big play. And Virginia Tech has a whole lineup of big playmakers, from Wilson to Boykin to Cole to Thomas. And so far, they've stayed away from that home run, that big play.
Here comes pressure.
Third down, 7. Swing it out. It's Wilson in space, but he attracts bodies. 4 of them. Donnie Fletcher there. And he had help. Sylvia, Kuechly. And Boston College again stops Virginia Tech. The Hokies are 0 for 4 on third down.
Well, again, this is a designed out. And you want to get that ball upfield, not have to make Wilson pirouette or do that 360. I'm not sure if he'd have been led properly, he'd have got enough yardage anyway. But you'll get a technical minus, Logan Thomas will, on that delivery.
Swigert, fair catch. Yeah, that's a nice play. at the 13-yard line. Let's go down to the field. Jen Hildreth. Hi, Jen.
Hello. I've been running around looking at some injuries down here in the Virginia Tech sideline. Some bad news for Bud Foster's defense. Defensive end James Gale, who had been out with an ankle injury, does not look like he's going to return. He told the trainer he's done. So that's one big hit. It will seem, though, that Anton Exum should be back in this game. Said it was just a thigh bruise. He should be fine.
Hey, Jen, one thing. Watching the emotion on the Boston College sideline looks very different than the last time we saw him down at Clemson. Agreed?
Absolutely. They are very energized, and it's not just because they're in the sunshine over there. I think I need to go to that side.
Rolandon Finch out to the 17-yard line. That's the one thing that Frank Spaziani told us this week. He said, you know, in that game against Clemson, a team that's hot right now, a lot of things went right for Boston College. They had that long touchdown called back by Swigert. Twice they got inside the 10 and came away with only 3 points.
And they held Clemson to 4 or 5 field goals and not touchdowns.
Yeah, they lost that game 36-14. Second down. This one is caught Larmond right at the 25-yard line. That's a first down. Chase Reddick looks sharp, and BC moves the sticks.
Talking with the Boston College staff and Dave Brock, who is now the offensive coordinator, they talked about Reddick not making mistakes and then making quicker decisions, not holding the ball as long as he may have in the past. That time he got the ball, found his receiver, got it out of there quickly.
Finch in the backfield behind Reddick. There's 3 of 6 for 55 yards. Rolling into pressure and winging it out of bounds to save a sack. Tyrell Wilson with the pressure, the sophomore out of Hampton, Virginia.
And Wilson is who will come in if James Gale, as Jen reported, cannot go. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Hampton, and you've got 2 great defensive minds on the field right now. One of them just happens to be a head coach at Boston College, and Coach Spaz, and of course Bud Foster for Virginia Tech.
And you could really sense the camaraderie between the two. When we visited with Foster yesterday, he spoke glowingly about Spaziani. On a draw, it's Finch, and he's going to gain maybe a yard. It'll bring up third down and a long 9 for Boston College.
Well, Larmond is a junior. Colin Larmond, junior. Finch is not a junior. He's Roland Finch. Same as his dad, but they call him Deuce.
That works. On third down, Reddick flushed, throwing on the run, open on the sideline. That's Finch, and there goes Deuce across midfield. And look at the Boston College bench right now. BC has come to Virginia Tech. It's homecoming, and they've got a 7-3 lead over number 12, Virginia Tech. ACC College Football Saturday, homecoming in Blacksburg. Number 12, Virginia Tech, and Boston College. Right now, Boston College on top, 7-3. Our Delta Faucet's first quarter stats, 103 total yards by Virginia Tech. But Boston College has made the big plays. They've converted on third down, and they have the only touchdown of the ball game. And they're on the move in Virginia Tech territory. Chase Reddick on play action over the middle, just overthrows Alex Amadon, who had a step, but Reddick's pass just out of his reach.
Boy, is that one that Chase would love to have back. Great route on the slot receiver in Amadon, and just out of his reach. Exum, the safety back there on coverage, but a nice route, a nice throw, just a little too long.
BC took a shot on 1st and 10, 2nd and 10. Had a 2 tight end look. Reddick will give it to Finch over the left side. And Boston College has been able to do nothing on the ground. Tariq Edwards, the sophomore linebacker, who had the big interception last week near halftime. at Wake Forest. That set up a late first half touchdown that really turned the game for Bud Foster's defense and for the Hokies.
So number 96 in there, big Corey Marshall, the big freshman. He and Maddie, true freshmen. This time last year, Rich, they were playing high school ball.
Redding on the day is 4 of 9, 82 yards. This is the 8th play of the drive. 3rd and 8. Redding's throw down the sideline. It is incomplete. No flags. The Boston College coaches were not real pleased.
They want pass interference.
Eddie Whitley on the coverage.
4th and 9 for Boston College.
Bobby Swigert, the intended receiver. Here's a look.
Well, both officials threw their hat, which means Swigert had gone out of bounds.
Once he's out of bounds,
he cannot be the first one to touch the ball. And he's basically an ineligible receiver.
Quigley will punt it. And he wobbles this one. Cole at the 9. Little head fake up the sideline. He escapes. Cole, nice return out to the 29-yard line. It's a 20-yard return on a 36-yard punt. Virginia Tech with the ball, but down 7-3. Andre, a lot of Hokie fans will be voting for Logan Thomas on that one. Thomas in the shotgun here on 1st and 10. Swings it out to David Wilson. Wilson to the 28. Avoids one hit. And he's out to the 36-yard line. Now he's caught some balls. But Keith Jones, Boston College has done a nice job of keeping Wilson in check. Just 9 rushing yards in the first quarter.
Well, they've been able to keep their discipline in their lanes and not allow any creases or areas that he can exploit. We did see him make the corner that one time and pick up 6 or 7 yards. But so far, this Boston College defense has not let him find that crease where he can use that world-class speed to exploit you.
2nd down. And it's Thomas. And he is smothered. I don't think he's got the first down.
Here's what you're talking about with David Wilson. They've gotten the ball to him through the air. That's the one significant gain on the ground. But everything else has been bottled up. Very disciplined attack by this BC defense. Everybody playing assignment football.
When you play Virginia Tech and you play assignment football, there's a lot of assignments. It's not as easy as just stopping one guy.
Bud Foster's defense is complicated. That's probably an understatement. With him playing so many sophomores and juniors, it's a wonder that this Tech defense has performed as well as it has.
39 inches.
David Wilson looking to the sideline. Frank Beamer on 3rd down and inches. 25 years Frank Beamer's been the head coach here, and you know it's a good lesson for athletic directors and alumni everywhere across the country. His first 6 years did not start well here in Blacksburg.
He can't carry the 24 wins.
24, 40, and 2 in his first 6 years. Thomas will keep it around the end. He's out to the 42-yard line. He's going to get the first down.
That was a very atypical quarterback sneak, was it not? They block down on the left side, and Thomas runs all the way around them. They have a play which they call their submarine, which is the true quarterback sneak right up the middle. I don't know if that one was a cruiser or a destroyer, but it wasn't a submarine.
Well, Bill McGovern, the defensive coordinator for Boston College, said tackling Thomas is like tackling a tight end. And that's true. He was a tight end. He was a tight end, linebacker, H-back, and played a little bit of that before they moved him to quarterback. He did play some quarterback in high school as well. And there's David Wilson to the 45-yard line. Luke Kuechly made the stop. 12 minutes left, first half, 7-3. I mean, he's got the build of a tight end, 6'6", 254 pounds. Now, he probably could play a variety of positions on either side of the ball and play them well.
And guess what? He's a pretty good golfer, too.
See, that I didn't know. I knew he was an outstanding track athlete and a great basketball player. Second down and 7. Thomas has time to the sidelines, incomplete. Marcus Davis, the intended receiver. On the coverage was Donnie Fletcher, who's had a good day so far, the senior corner out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Fletcher with 23 starts. Was actually injured in the preseason. He's worked his way back up on the field, and as you mentioned, he's had a good year.
Lane Stadium holds 66,000, and every seat is filled. Homecoming started early,
and every season, every game has been filled for what, 85 now? 85 consecutive sellouts.
Third down 7. BC shows blitz. Here they come. Thomas unloads down the sideline for Boykin, and it's incomplete. He was out of bounds when he made the dive. Kuechly, the pressure up the middle. And once again, Boston College hits Logan Thomas, who has taken his share of hits in this first half.
But it'll be coming right out at you. He delivers the ball, but Kuechly comes through 3. Luke with 99 tackles coming into the ballgame, but just 1 sack. They don't blitz him nearly as much as they do Pierre Lewis, but when they do, he is effective.
Kuechly, of course, leading the nation in tackles, leading the ACC in tackles by a mere 44 coming into play.
I think that's my total from my senior year.
Branthover gets it off, hooks it out of bounds. Remember, it was a short punt that helped set up the Boston College touchdown. This one will be marked inside of Boston College territory at the 22. 7-3 BC. Homecoming week. Finishing up with the homecoming game. But right now Boston College is not cooperating. Number 12 Virginia Tech trailing at home 7-3. And the sellout crowd trying to get the Hokie defense into this one. Chase Redding and Boston College from their own 22. This one is Andre Williams. Alonzo Tweedy the first to hit him. Forward progress out to the 21. So instead of a loss of 5 where he landed, it's a loss of just 1.
I think Tweedy ends up hitting him about 3 times. Once there. Well, I'll just grab him again.
Not much going on the ground for Boston College. A mere 11 yards. Redding, blitz is coming. Throws to that side, and a great catch by Jonathan Coleman. You could see Redding right away recognize blitz, and he threw in that area.
Well, that was the hot read. They were going to go on the out. Chris Hill, the redshirt senior over there on coverage. This is a full-out blitz, man coverage behind it. If Hill doesn't make that tackle, it's a big gain.
But it was a gain of only 5, and thus third down and 7.
Let's see if Foster dials up pressure again or if he lays back.
1 of 4 on third down is Boston College. Redding threads the needle. That's Larmon with the catch, and he's out to the 45. That is a terrific throw. Redding looked off the coverage and then came back over the middle.
And what's even more impressive is that Tech only brings 3. They bring 3, they drop 8, and Redding just rifles that ball in there. Great throw, great catch.
Remember, Larmon caught the 35-yarder that set up the only touchdown of the ball game. 9:40 left, first half. Boston College with the lead in Blacksburg and on the move, their own 44. Williams, nothing going. Tweedy again. Bruce Taylor with some help. Well, Alonzo Tweedy's made 2 nice stops. The junior out of Richmond, Virginia.
And again, it's so impressive to watch how quick these linebackers are to read. Bruce Taylor, number 51, gets over there to help out. How quickly they recognize and shoot gaps in this Virginia Tech scheme.
Second down and 14. Reddick scrambles. He's dropped. Taylor, second sack for Virginia Tech. 24th on the season.
4th on the year for Taylor individually. You can see exactly what Reddick was facing, and that was a lot of white helmets and orange jerseys in a very narrow space.
Jen?
Rich, do you remember how David Wilson described Bruce Taylor to us yesterday? He said he's surprisingly athletic. He doesn't look real athletic. He's got these skinny legs, and Bruce said, hey, people sleep on me all the time. I know what I can do.
Yes, he does. He's a leading tackler for Virginia Tech. Reddick, little screen pass, sets up nicely. This is Finch, and he's across midfield, down to the 42-yard line.
Great call that time by offensive coordinator Dave Brock. Very well executed. And it caught Virginia Tech a little bit by surprise. Everything's going to work this way. And look at those the convoy of linemen in front of Deuce.
Mark Spinney, the center, with a big block. Reddick did a nice job of holding the ball long enough to draw the rush and set up the screen. And now the football sits just inside the Virginia Tech 43-yard line. Dante Elliott in motion. Well, right now, Boston College can't get a thing going on the ground.
And that is a huge play by Corey Marshall, number 96. Again, a true freshman. He just shedded a block and literally was at the running back in the quarterback exchange.
Boston College's rushing total is now down to -3 with the 2 sacks and the big plays by Alonzo Tweedy on this drive.
Tech's 8th in the country coming in. They only give up about 84 yards a game on the ground.
2 tight ends set for Boston College. Larmont in motion. Reddick on 2nd and 8. Throwing for the end zone. Larmont intercepted, ball's loose, and it's incomplete.
No.
Or is it picked?
They're saying picked and down.
Wow, the ball came loose as both players hit the turf. Anton Exum and Colin Larmont, they're going to call it an interception, and I would expect this one will be reviewed.
And a great job by Bonner on the outside and Exum in the middle. When that man came in motion, they changed their coverage. Safety went back, corner stepped up. A little bit of a buddy system over there. And then the safety turned and ran with the deep route. There's Exum right there. Catch.
Wow,
that's close.
It's, you know what? I don't know. He hits the ground, the ball is loose, and this is obviously going to be reviewed.
That is not an interception. It sure looked like it
was an interception. The play is under further review.
As a receiver, they say that you have to complete the catch as you hit the ground and hold the ball, and the same goes for a defender trying to make an interception.
And that's not the best angle. The one we had prior is, and that ball was never secured.
It was a great play by Exum, that's for sure.
No question. Look right here, but the one from the backside is the best one. And I think we get a look at that, you'll see very clearly that he did not control the football.
Now you see the ball juggling before it popped up.
Here it is, watch this. See, he never has the ball.
It's obviously a big call for Boston College.
Ball scooting out right there, hits the turf, bounces up. I go reversal. Of course, my track record on this leaves a whole lot to be desired.
And you don't have a vote. The replay official taking a look at it.
And And one of the keys I've learned, or at least picked up on about this, is if this takes an inordinate amount of time, it's because they're reversing it, because they've got to go back and remember and point out where to put the ball and what, if anything, to do with the clock.
Frank Spaziani has been emotional all day long. Look at him talking right now to his defense. Frank Beamer, on the other hand, rather subdued as Virginia Tech has come out here and seen Boston College take the lead, hang on to the lead with 6:48 left in this first half.
See, I think the ball hits the turf and then bounces up. That'd be my vote, recognizing I don't have one.
So both coaches watch and wait.
And again, the longer this takes, the more likely the call on the field is going to be overturned. You like replays?
I do. I like the fact that if there is a play like this, the replay official up above takes a look at it. I don't like the challenge system. Now you can in college. There's the official. You can in college as a coach have one challenge where you can ask them to look at a replay, but in most cases coaches don't use those challenges. I think the college system really has been ironed out over the last couple of years to be pretty efficient. Now you're a guy who played a two-time All-American at Florida State. You played before replay.
I played before VHS.
It wasn't going to go there, but do you like it?
I do like it. And I like the fact that every play gets reviewed.
Yes.
I don't like when we're trying to spot the ball. Is it a first down or not? But did he come down in bounds? Did he have control?
Now your theory that if the replay takes longer, they're worried about.
After further review, the defensive player did not maintain control of the ball. It was an incomplete pass. It'll be Boston College ball, 3rd and 7 at the 40-yard line.
And see, he had to look to his notes because that's exactly what the replay official was on the line telling him. We got to move the sticks back. You got to move things back. You got to get it resetted. I think they got this one right. The ball hits the ground, never controlled by Exum rather. And it'll be 3rd down, Virginia or BC.
And your theory holds that if it's a lengthy review, they make the call catch or no catch early in the process, and they're figuring out spot, down, and distance from there. 8th play of the drive. This drive has gone 38 yards. Certainly not in field goal range right now. They need another 6-7 yards for that. 3rd down, 7. Shotgun for Reddick.
Now, the last 3rd down, Tech did not bring pressure.
They're bringing it now. And Reddick in trouble, throws wildly. Larmont is there, and it's incomplete. Well, that's a heck of a job by Reddick. And Larmont was in the neighborhood. Bud Foster's defense again getting to chase Reddick. Kyle Fuller.
Fuller coming off of the corner, no pun intended, because he is a corner. Remember, there's no grasping rule in college. You got to get him down.
And I think he was probably in the tackle box, and if Larmont wasn't in the territory,
very good point.
That would have been intentional grounding. There's Cole back at his 10-yard line. Quigley will try to touch this one inside, and Cole is forced to make a fair catch at the 6-yard line. So Virginia Tech trailing, backed up at their own 6. Later stages, first half. Standings on ACC College Football Saturday, trailing Boston College 7-3. Our Hardee's Chicken Tender Box game summary. Remember, BC won the opening toss, deferred. They had a 3-and-out stop by their defense, and then Michael Branthover had a 9-yard punt. Chase Reddick would hit Carlin Larmont on a 35-yard pass down to the 2, and Reddick would take it in from there. And BC scored first. Now Virginia Tech trying to get out of their own shadows of the end zone. Wilson over the right side. Kuechly the first to get him. And it's a gain of 6. Virginia Tech known for their big plays. Guys like David Wilson, Jared Boykin, Logan Thomas, and that's all they've got. That on a 57-yard drive. So the Boston College defense, when they've needed to stop Virginia Tech, have been able to do it here in the first half.
And a lot of this game has been played in Virginia Tech's half of the field.
2nd down and 4. Thomas in the shotgun to Wilson, and Kasim Edebale makes the stop. Very close to the first down. I think he's shy about half a yard to bring up 3rd down.
This BC defense much maligned. Bill McGovern, their defensive coordinator, they're 95th in the country in total yardage. This one will be close enough to measure.
Some of that's got to be deceiving, though. When you've got an offense that is sputtering and unable to possess the football, I mean, it puts a lot of undue pressure on your defense.
Without question, that's a very good point. And of course, BC has struggled a little bit on offense because Gary Tranquil, their offensive coordinator last year, retired. They brought in a new guy to help with that. Kevin Rogers, he's had to take a leave of absence due to illness. So they've had some discontinuity on the offensive side.
And of course, Rogers was a quarterback coach here for 4 years at Virginia Tech. Let's go down to Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Rich, just wanted to tell you guys real quick, you'll notice a lot of pink out there. I've got some on my microphone. It's for breast cancer awareness. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So the Virginia Tech guys, some of them have the pink wristbands. They've been selling these pink bracelets on campus during the week. There you go. There's your bracelet. And David Wilson, he's got a lot of pink out there. The guy with the style and the flair. No surprise, right? He's got a lot of pink out there, do you think, Rich?
He is a styling guy.
You like my microphone?
I do. Microphone, wristband. Very nice. Virginia Tech does pick up the first down. There are the pink socks.
Those socks or shoelaces or both. Wow.
At their own 17, Thomas rolling in the sunshine, throws, and it's knocked away and almost intercepted. Manny Esprilla, the freshman out of Everett, Massachusetts, closing. It's been a good day for the secondary for Boston College.
They certainly took the bye week as a secondary unit, and they have studied tape, and they're well aware of what Virginia Tech likes to, and is prone to do in the passing game. Because you're exactly right. They have played well.
2nd down and 10. Thomas trying to set up a screen. It's not there, and he grounds the football. Excellent job again defensively by Boston College.
Well, BC was in man coverage that time, and the linebacker assigned to the running back was able to get in amongst the biggins, amongst the convoy. Logan Thomas saw that, could not get the ball to Wilson, and as you call, just grounded it legally.
Jared Rudolph on that defensive line was also in that pattern as well. Virginia Tech 3rd down and 10. Their own 17. Thomas flushed, looking, now running, big man, and he's blasted at the 26-yard line. Well, that's Kevin Pierce-Lewis, who is a 212-pound linebacker taking on a 254-pound quarterback. And certainly Thomas put the head down thinking he could pick up 3 more yards, and Lewis knocked him clean out of bounds.
And maybe more importantly than getting the big hit, about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
Number 10, Bobby Swigert, deep for Boston College.
Bobby Swigert is deep for BC. Michael Branthover to punt it away for Virginia Tech. Line drive kick. He's not had a good day, and this one bounces out of bounds. Good field position 38-yard line. BC has it. A 36-yard punt. Total yards rushing, but Chase Reddick has thrown for 126, 7 of 15. Play action, rolling into pressure. Good throw behind. Lars Anderson the catch. He was not the #1 read, but in the progression, Reddick looked down and found Anderson, and the senior out of Winter Springs, Florida, made a nice catch.
Just the 6th catch of the year for Anderson. You're right. Great body adjustment, kept concentration on the ball as it was delivered a little bit behind him. That'll make a quarterback look good.
9-yard pickup. There's your total yardage. Fairly even, but look at the disparity on the ground and through the air for Boston College. Can they pick up 1? Boy, I don't know. I mean, it's second and less than a yard, and they can't even get that right now on the ground.
Tech defense across the front, just stellar. With Collins and Hopkins, Maddie and Marshall, the 2 freshmen, even with Gale out, with Tyrell Wilson in.
Short, and look at it. Frank Spaziani is saying, come on, we got to be able to pick up half a yard. It's third and less than a yard now. 3 of 7 on third down is Boston College. Rolandon Finch is the running back. Maybe Reddick will keep it himself. Finch bounces it outside, and he's got the first down and more. He's inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. Chris Hill and Tyrell Wilson made the stop.
Well, if everything's going to be bunched up in the middle, I'm just going to punch it outside. And that's exactly what Deuce does. First downs have been hard to come by, and gaining first downs on the ground even more difficult for BC here in the first half.
Into Virginia Tech territory, inside the 44. Boston College with the ball and the lead. We're under 3 minutes left in the first half. Chase Reddick has played well. Play action, steps through the pressure. He'll tuck it, spin around, and then end up losing a bunch of yardage. Bruce Taylor and Kyle Fuller finish him off. Forward progress, though, is going to mark this ball at the 46. That's about 7 yards further up the field than when he came to rest.
Well, pressure came from the middle and the backside, and he gets turned around. J.R. Collins, number 42, in there.
I think he got a pretty generous spot.
Come here. Come back here.
Second and 13, just outside the 46. Blitz coming. Reddick fires it. Caught there by Elliott at the 39-yard line, short of the first down. It'll bring up third down and about 6.
And another great open field tackle by Derek Bonner. Remember, he is playing for the injured Javon Halsley.
Now, Bud Foster's defense has blitzed. You have to credit the offensive line and the running backs for picking up the blitz, but I think you got to give Reddick a lot of credit. He has found the blitzes. He has thrown to the right spots, and he has made Virginia Tech pay at times when they've come after him.
And BC is going to take a timeout right here and catch their breath and regroup a little bit.
Third down and 6. The ball is sitting at the 39-yard line of Virginia Tech. So a field goal here would be about a 57-yarder. That's probably out of Nate Freese's range. His longest is 52 in his career. They need another 5-6 yards.
Well, Reddick's been running around for his life, and as you mentioned, I think he's done a good job of eluding the rush and getting the ball away on occasions, but they have been getting to him, they have been sacking him, they have been hitting him, and that will wear on Reddick as the game goes on.
Let's go down to the sideline. Jen Hildreth.
Rich, I talked to Chase this week, and, he said it has been a tough season. He had a lot of hopes and expectations. Then he was quick to add, and I still have them. And to come in here at Virginia Tech, he said, I've watched a lot of film. When teams come in here and beat Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech, the quarterback has to play extremely well, play within themselves, and not force turnovers.
Thank you, Jen. He's been sacked 3 times, but he's made some big throws. 3rd down.
And another timeout.
Boston timeout, Boston College. It's their 2nd timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
So they've got 1 left on a 3rd down and 6.
The Tech volleyball team is back in action tomorrow afternoon.
Frank Spaziani and the Eagles 1-5. Many feel better than their record, but he told us this week, hey, our record is our record, and we're the only one to blame for that. Close loss to Northwestern. Next week, they're at Maryland, Boston College in Maryland, on ACC College Football Saturday. A 3 o'clock start, Maryland and Boston College. Remember, a 7-point loss to Northwestern, a 1-point loss to Duke, a close loss to Wake Forest. So they may be 1-5, but it's a team that has played well at times this year. They put together a very nice first half, faced with 3rd down and 6.
And Tech having some trouble lining up.
Swigert in motion. Redding setting. Now flushed on the run. In traffic. Incomplete. Swigert, the intended receiver.
And another good job by Bonner on the outside.
And in a 7-3 ball game, Boston College is going to punt this one and try to pin Virginia Tech back.
Tech had a difficult time getting lined up, but once they did, got some pressure, made Reddick move out of the pocket, and Bonner on the outside to knock the ball away.
Quigley, his last time, pinned Virginia Tech down inside the 5. And this one's going to be a little too hard, it looks like. And it just lands in the end zone. It's going to bring Virginia Tech out to the 20. Virginia Tech has 2 timeouts left and a minute left in this first half. BCS standings out. The ACC has 3 teams in the top 25. Clemson, a convincing win today for the Tigers. You got Virginia Tech at 12, and you got Georgia Tech, who's on the road against Miami and trailing 7-0 in the 2nd quarter of that ball game. Clemson beat North Carolina 59-38. To the air, Thomas has a man. It's Marcus Davis at the 40, and a 20-yard pickup just like that. Takes 6 seconds off the clock.
Very loose coverage by Boston College. And that's a mixed blessing sometimes when you go to the prevent, Rich. You may end up giving up much more yardage than you had hoped for in trying to protect against the big play.
Blitz coming. Thomas rolls towards it, and on the sideline, it's incomplete. Marcus Davis, good job by Donnie Fletcher. A receiver who's trying to come down in bounds. If you can knock him out of bounds, that's an incomplete pass. And Fletcher's had a terrific first half on that corner.
We've had a number of defensive backs that have played very, very well on both sides of the ball.
Still 49 seconds left. Virginia Tech at their own 40. Plenty of time for Thomas. Boy, Wilson is blasted. Oglesby was blasted. He held the ball. Kuechly knocked him over. They'll bring up a 3rd down. The clock is stopped. Timeout taken by Virginia Tech. Boston College, a spirited first half. Luke Kuechly, their defensive leader. And again, there's Kevin Pierre-Louis.
Well, if I'm Oglesby, I go back to Logan and say, hey, dude, when you see number 40 where he was at on that play, you can just throw that one over my head.
That's a great tag team combo, though. When you've got Kuechly, the leading tackler in the country, and you've got Kevin Pierre-Louis, who is an emerging star, a sophomore linebacker out of Norwalk, Pennsylvania. That's quite a pair to have.
And unofficially, we have Kuechly with 9 tackles here in the first half.
And you've got Kevin Pierre-Louis with 7. Kuechly with 108 tackles on the season already. Oglesby in the backfield, so David Wilson not in the game. Shotgun on 3rd down and 4. Over the middle. This one is held. Boykin. Clock will stop as they move the chains. Virginia Tech down to the Boston College 36-yard line.
Unless you've got another play call, you spike this one. They may have called 2 since they were coming out of a timeout.
Clock starts. Blitz comes. Thomas. Again, it's deflected and almost intercepted. Jim Noel had that one in his hands, and it rolled out as he came to the ground. 24 seconds left.
This ball just a little too hot on the crossing route and very nearly picked off. Noel in the back, ball intended to Boykin. And if Tech ends up getting points here, you can point right there to an opportunity missed of this BC defense to get off the field.
1 timeout left for Virginia Tech. 2nd and 10. Thomas to the sidelines. Again, a terrific catch by Boykin, falling out of bounds. He's short of the first down, but he does stop the clock. And now you're in field goal range. It's about a 47, 48-yarder. Cody Jornell has a long of 41 this year.
And with 19 seconds and a timeout, you've got 2 offensive plays if you can convert the 3rd down right here. Do you go for the first down and use the timeout, or do you take a shot and try to go to the end zone?
Thomas again to the sideline. This one is caught. Cole, and he stays in bounds. Well, they didn't take a shot to the end zone, but they did pick up a big first down.
And now with 14 seconds left, you probably have 1 play, and you can use anything in your game plan, anything in your playbook, because you've got that timeout remaining.
Final seconds, first half. Number 12 Virginia Tech trailing 7-3. Logan Thomas on this drive, 4 of 6, 55 yards, 1st and 10. Thomas steps in the pocket, now scrambling, and then wings it out of bounds. Down to 8 seconds left. And so the question is, what are you going to do here? Do you take another play with 8 seconds left? Our Sprint halftime report is coming up with Andre Aldridge. We've got scores and highlights all from the Atlanta studios. We'll update you on all the goings on in college football, and particularly the ACC.
To answer your question, Rich, you can, but you've got to. Logan Thomas has got to know he can't dance around in the pocket. They can run 1 play, but it can't be an extended play.
They've got 1 timeout. 2nd and 10 for the 19. Thomas flushed, throwing, and he throws it to the back of the end zone, and there's 3 seconds left. Man, when that ball was in the air, you knew it was going out. And so the first thing you do is look up at the clock and see when is it going to hit the stands, because that's when it's ruled incomplete. And it stops the clock at 3 seconds. Jornell on. 36-yard attempt. Kick is up and good. And on the final play of the first half, Virginia Tech gets their 2nd field goal, but still trails Boston College 7-6. Homecoming here in Blacksburg. And a sellout crowd of over 66,000 never really had a chance to really get into this first half. And you got to give a lot of credit to Boston College. They scored first. Their defense made the stops. And this Virginia Tech offense, filled with big playmakers, had to settle for just 2 field goals here in the first half.
And again, we see a 3rd consecutive game that Virginia Tech has started slow.
Down below, Jen Hildreth with Frank Spaziani, head coach for Boston College.
Coach, a defensive struggle for both teams so far, but what have you liked about your team in this game?
Well, we're playing hard. We're playing like we always play. We're playing hard, and we're trying to make some things happen. We're in position, and we need to make a play.
Offensively, you told us before, you have to run the ball to be effective. What do you need to do to get something going on the ground?
Well, we had a couple cuts we missed, and then we had a couple blocks. It's the same old, same old. There's like the leaky dike theory. We got to figure it out. We'll gather it up, and we'll run it better in the second half.
All right, thank you, Coach. Rich, apparently Coach Spaziani had quite a spirited message to his team before the game. So far, it's working pretty well.
Yeah, he was emotional the entire first half, Jen. You're right about that. Boston College 7, number 12, Virginia Tech 6 at the half. Pressure in the ACC, and David Wilson had just 21 yards on 6 carries in that first half. And as Keith pointed out, Boston College won the toss, deferred, and they knew what they were doing. They gave it to Virginia Tech. They got it back, scored the touchdown. And as a special added bonus, they get the ball to start the second half. Myers kick, strong one, end over end. It's going to sail all the way through the end zone. And so Chase Reddick and Boston College looking for a big upset here in Blacksburg. 30 minutes of football in front of them, a 1-point lead. Reddick, the sophomore quarterback out of Sierra Madre, California. Bud Foster's defense, always one of the best in the country. Second overall in the ACC, allowing under 300 yards a game. This is a defense that has sacked the quarterback 25 times, including 3 times today. They've been able to get to Reddick.
And this drive right here will set the tone more than likely for the entire second half. Who's going to come out with the best halftime adjustments?
4 receivers set. Reddick throws back and almost throws it away. Incomplete. Chris Hill on the coverage. Derek Bonner there as well. And it's second down and 10. Reddick was on the mark and on the run, for that matter, most of the first half.
So we talked with Coach Spaz coming off, going into halftime, that they've got to find some way, does BC, some way to get a running game going.
On second and 10, Reddick for Larmond, and he was swallowed up. The ball was by him. Third down and 10. Here's a look at Reddick's day-to-day.
Well, he's made some good decisions when he's worked out of the pocket. This is the one that led to the first touchdown on the first drive. But the problem is he's had to move out of the pocket. He's been accurate quite a bit, but because you're moving around, that cuts down on your accuracy. He's a little under 50%, as you see his dad there looking on.
Made the trip from California, 9 of 20, 142 yards. And it's certainly not easy for a quarterback when your team is rushed for a total of 7 yards all day. On the move, that one broken up. Larmond was looking for a flag, and it's incomplete. Chris Hill on the coverage.
Now, was that ball intended for Swigert and overthrown, or was it intended for Larmond? Because you had 2 receivers in the same plane of the ball. And again, Reddick is having to find himself some time. There's Larmond.
A lot of contact there.
There really was.
Very easily could have been a flag. And now Virginia Tech is set up to get great field position. Ryan Quigley to punt it. Danny Cole standing back at the Virginia Tech 40-yard line. Good high kick. Cole a fair catch right at the 40. 40-yard kick, and now we'll see what adjustments Brian Steinspring and Mike O'Kane have made on this Virginia Tech offense, and what Bill McGovern has cooked up for this Boston College defense for the second half.
Now, Logan Thomas was just 12 of 25 in the first half, and though Tech did run the ball, they only netted out 59 yards on 15 rushing attempts.
This is the best field position to start a drive for Virginia Tech all day. You heard Frank Beamer say he wanted to get the ball to Wilson. He does, and Wilson gets popped by Steele DeVito after a gain of just 2.
Well, Thomas hasn't been chased around as much as Reddick, and he's had opportunities to deliver the ball. Sometimes he's been just a little bit erratic. but when he's taken off, he has gained considerable yardage, but there's just not been any consistency to their drives. They've resulted in 2 field goal attempts, 2 made field goals.
3 yards on that first carry by Wilson. Screen outside to Davis. He busts across midfield and has a first down at the Boston College 49-yard line. Spencer Rossitano with the stop for BC.
Davis, a big target, 6'4", goes about 230. And what you want to get is 1 block and 1 miss. There's the block. There's the miss. Safety gets over quickly, or linebacker rather. That was the safety, Spencer Rossitano. But if you can make 1 miss and get 1 block, you're going to pick up some nice yardage.
1st and 10 from the 48. Wilson getting outside, stop, start, darts to the 43. We haven't seen the big play from David Wilson yet. He now has 8 carries, a little over 30 yards. But here's a guy that's averaging 129 yards a game.
5th in the country.
6 100-yard games. The Energizer Bunny, so to speak, of the Virginia Tech offense. There he is, right at 29. He's a yard shy of 30.
He needs to go to those D cells and get rid of those double A's he evidently is running on right now.
2nd and 4. Thomas caught from behind, and Jim Noel coming up from the far side corner spot. That's great pursuit to make the stop. It'll bring up a 3rd down for Virginia Tech. 3rd down and about 3.
Noel Jr. had 25 stops coming into the ball game. Both of these corners, Donnie Fletcher and Jim Noel for BC, they can tackle in open spaces. That time, Noel actually runs down the Logan Thomas from behind.
Virginia Tech had trouble on 3rd down in the first half, 4 of 10. This from their 43. Blitz is coming. Thomas avoids the blitz and pitches to Wilson, who's got the first down and more. He's 10. He's down and in. Touchdown. David Wilson. And what a play by his quarterback, Logan Thomas.
Well, we've talked during our games previously about getting to the 2nd level and then pitching, and that's exactly what Logan Thomas does. And then watch the speed of Wilson, and then some great acrobatic moves to stay in bounds and get in for 7.
Extra point is good. All day long, the sellout crowd has been waiting for the big play, and they just saw it. David Wilson and Virginia Tech on top. Thanks, Andre. Virginia Tech has finally put it in the end zone, and they did it in spectacular fashion. Logan Thomas on the pitch. David Wilson, 42 yards later, he's in the end zone.
Nice job by Thomas to get past DeVito, and then a block on the outside. Number 7 out there, Marcus Davis, and then some acrobatics and ballet moves to get the final 7 or 8 yards in for that 42-yard touchdown gallop.
60 yards on that drive. Just over 200 yards the entire first half. So let's see how Boston College answers. Spiffy Evans from his 4. Evans cuts back up across the 25 and into traffic he goes out to the 31-yard line. 25 yards on the return. Let's check in with Jen Hildreth.
Rich, we saw some flash, some entertainment from David Wilson on that last drive. And you know what? Everybody says this guy has a car that matches his personality. A little style. How about this, baby? A 1978 Ford Thunderbird that he bought for $2,000. He likes to tinker on the car himself, but he put a lot of upgrades into it. Some special seats. Basically, the whole interior's been redone. Stereo system, burnt orange paint job. He apologized for his rims not being shiny enough, but I thought it all looked pretty good.
Well, that's vintage Huggy Bear stuff from Starsky and Hutch. Finch That's one of the best runs that Boston College has had all day. Anton Exum.
Good job of cutting back right there. Once that lane opens up, good eyes, good downfield movement and body lean by Rolandon Finch.
It's an 8-yard pickup. 8 more yards than Boston College had the entire first half. Reddick running again and gets close to the first down. He's at the 41, and that's where the sticks are. Kyle Fuller dragged him down. Reddick has really had to run around for his life in this one.
When Reddick goes back and watches this tape, Rich, he's going to see what he didn't see during the play, and that's number 42, J.R. Collins, doing everything in his power to try to catch him from behind.
The spot gives him the first down, and so he ran a long ways to pick up that 2 yards, but it's enough for the first down. It's 1st and 10. Boston College, their own 41. Virginia Tech has scored in their first possession, and there's Finch who busts one out across midfield. Well, Frank Beamer said we've got to start running the football and we've got to get it to David Wilson, and you get a sense that Frank Spaziani and Dave Brock said the same thing to their offensive line and their offense, that Boston College has to start running the football, that Rolandon Finch or Andre Williams has got to take some pressure off of the sophomore quarterback, Chase Reddick.
And 2nd and short, a prime opportunity to take a shot down the field.
This is 2nd and very short, less than a yard. They'll take a shot up the middle, and Finch, you know, a 4-yard pickup like that has got to feel like a 10-yard pickup, the way Virginia Tech stuffed the run in the first half.
What's the one thing we haven't seen much of here in 2 quarters and 5 minutes? Did you see the offensive staff upstairs? No flags, just 1 flag for 5 yards in the entire ballgame. A well-played contest.
They brought the acting offensive coordinator, as Keith pointed out, Kevin Rogers, who came over from the Minnesota Vikings, a leave of absence for an illness after the first 2 games for Boston College. You put that on top of all the injuries that BC has had, and it's not an excuse, but it helps explain a 1-5 start. Rogers was a quarterback coach here in Blacksburg and helped coach a couple of terrific quarterbacks, Brian Randall and Marcus Vick.
That last one, what was his name?
Marcus Vick.
Yeah, did he do anything? I think he's got a brother that's pretty good, doesn't he?
Well, Michael's not bad either, but they've got a long line of great quarterbacks that have played here at Virginia Tech. 2nd down and 10. Reddick, play action, screen set up. Finch, a good catch in traffic, picks his way to the 40. And it's a 5-yard pickup on a play that looked like it was going nowhere from the start. Whitley and Bonner on the stop.
We haven't seen a lot of screens out of BC, but the ones they have run have been relatively effective. Nice adjustment by Finch, just A, to catch the ball, and then B, just puts his head down and goes north and south to pick up 5.
Rolandon Finch, the sophomore, has been the feature back on this drive. 3rd down coming up, 3rd down and 5. Sellout crowd on homecoming, making a lot of noise. Blitz coming, Reddick, contact and flags. Eddie Whitley on top of Bobby Swigert. There were a couple of plays.
Pass interference, number 15 in the defense. Ball will be placed in spot of foul. Automatic first down.
A couple of plays in the first half that Boston College thought should have been flagged, and they finally get one here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, we bring up no flags, and right the next play we get one. That's pretty close. Whitley, the lone senior on this defensive club.
It's a 1st down. It moves it to the 37-yard line of Virginia Tech. Bud Foster, a great defensive coordinator in his 16th season here in Blacksburg. Draw play. Williams is in. Takes the hit. Stays on his feet. Inside the 25 and down to the 22. Whitley made the stop. Boy, Andre Williams, the sophomore, on the carry. Looked like he was stopped, but stayed on his feet.
Williams had negative rushing yardage in the first half. Kyle Fuller has to come up and finally make the stop with some help. But BC has found a little bit of a ground game here on this drive, Rich.
All the way down to the Virginia Tech 22. Reddick. Look out. Hit as he throws. Picked off at the 11. Tariq Edwards. There was pressure. Reddick was hit. Barquell Rivers, the senior. Edwards had the big interception going into halftime last week at Wake Forest.
The pressure is going to come, as you called, from Rivers. He comes unblocked, and then Edwards jumps right in front of the route, makes a diving grab for the pick.
So Boston College moves the football all the way down inside the 20. Wilson taking over now, and Wilson's got 10. Wilson's got 15 on the carry.
What side is old Mo on now?
Boy, an enormous play by the Virginia Tech defense. Tariq Edwards. Wilson had the 42-yarder last time he touched it. This one for 15.
Well, Wilson is short, if you will, 5'10", 5'10 and a half, but he goes about 205. And he is very powerful once he puts his head down and gets that forward body link going.
Had 21 yards total in the first half. He's up to 86 yards now on 10 carries. And he'll get it again. Edebale and Kuechly make the stop for Boston College. It's another gain of about 5 yards. Boston College scored first in this football game, a 7-0 lead. A pair of field goals for Virginia Tech in the first half. Wilson, a 42-yard run on a great option pitch from Logan Thomas for the touchdown here in the second half. And off the Edwards interception, the Hokies are moving the football.
Keep your eye on that guy. In due time, Logan, I guarantee you he'll come in the mix.
It's Thomas. Big man out to the 40 to gain of 9. Well, he had it in there.
Didn't he, though?
And then pulled it out. He absorbed about 6-7 hits on his way down. That's a big man. 6'6", 254. Bill McGovern, defensive coordinator for Boston College. Thomas in the shotgun. Dumps it out into the flats. Boykin is waiting there. And he's got the catch close to the first down. Gain of 9. Sean Sylvia and Manny Asperia made the stop.
Hokies love to set up those trips to the wide side and then leave Boykin to the short side by himself. A lot of times you'll get rotation and end up with one-on-one coverage on Boykin, and they love the Hokies to take advantage of that.
Second and short. Let's see if the Hokies take a shot.
This guy's coming.
Wilson. And he's going to gain 2. Dominique Williams made the stop. It's a first down, and Virginia Tech moves the sticks. Boy, Boston College themselves moved it down. Tariq Edwards picking off a Chase Reddick throw. Reddick was hit as he threw by Barquell Rivers. Boston College, at the very least, you felt was going to come away with 3 points. And instead, Virginia Tech has driven it out past midfield.
Remember, we talked about in the open in the early part of the ball game that one of the concerns was Reddick could not afford to make mistakes.
Thomas to the sideline. Caught there. It's Cole. To the 20.
Cole's second on the Virginia Tech all-time reception list, fourth on the all-time receiving yardage list. The guy that holds the #1 spot on both of those plays on the other side, his name is Jarrett Boykin.
.29 yards on the catch. Moves the football right to the 20. 5 catches, 77 yards for Danny Cole. Thomas on 1st and 10. He'll throw it. Lobs it for the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Davis.
Told you earlier, Davis goes 6'4". That wasn't your traditional fade route or jump ball, but it ended up being about the same. So you got a 6'4" guy out there working on Donnie Fletcher, who only gives up about 3 inches, but that ball was nicely thrown in great body position by Davis to come down with it.
Brunell with the extra point. Number 12, Virginia Tech, is up off the canvas and on top, 20-7. Number 12, Virginia Tech, starting to pull away from Boston College on an ACC College Football Saturday. Our Wendy's game summary. Chase Reddick scored the first touchdown of the ball game, but Virginia Tech here in the second half has put up 14 points and moved the football with a lot more explosiveness than they did in the first half. They had to settle for 2 first-half field goals. Evans, 5 yards deep. He will take a knee. And we'll see if Boston College has an answer here. Trailing in Blacksburg, 20-7. Sun starting to set on the campus of Virginia Tech, and actually setting on Boston College as well. 20-7 now. Virginia Tech trailing at the half. They scored 14 unanswered here to start the second half. Chase Reddick, and it's Rolandon Finch over the left side. Boston College desperately needs something to go right here. They did move the football in their last possession, but of course it ended in the Tariq Edwards interception of the Chase Reddick pass.
Close ball games, mistakes and penalties. It just always works out that way.
BC has been able to run the football here in the second half. They had 0 yards in the first half. Reddick dropped again. 4th sack of the day. Corey Marshall. It's been a tough day for the Southern California quarterback.
Marshall, one of those 2 big freshmen we told you about, true freshman, Matty out of Delray Beach in Florida. Marshall, number 96. Petersburg, Virginia. This Hokie defense, Rich, 13th in the country. They average 3.14 sacks per game. They're at that and a little above so far through 3 quarters here.
They got to Tanner Price 4 times last week at Wake Forest. 3rd down, 11. Reddick over the middle, and it's incomplete. Larmond again calling for a flag. Chris Hill on the coverage.
Larmond and Hill have been going at it. Hill comes in on that nickel package, Rich, but he actually goes to the outside slot. They move Fuller in to cover the slot man. Hill stays outside in a true corner position. And that's the reason he's been matched up so much with Larmond.
Ryan Quigley inside his 5. Danny Cole is deep. at the Virginia Tech 40. High spiral. Cole, 33-yard line, avoids one tackle and skips out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Let's check in with Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Rich, you guys have been talking about, the size of Virginia Tech quarterback Logan Thomas, 6'6", 254. Yeah, that's impressive. How about this? This is a size 16 cleat. It's tied for the largest on the Virginia Tech team. The other two that wear it, they're linemen. And longtime equipment manager Lester Carlin told me that when Logan got here, he actually wanted an 18 cleat. That is the largest cleat he has ever ordered in 34 years here with Virginia Tech.
And he's a growing young man, Jen. I mean, he's 6'6", 254. And has his team rolling right now. Play action, Thomas throwing on the run. Cole. I think that's what makes him so scary, Keith, is the fact you saw the size of the shoes and the size of the player. But he's so mobile. That throw is not an easy throw. Throwing on the run, he put it on the money.
And you got to remember, he's still a sophomore. And he's only played the quarterback position about 3 years.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. I mean, last year he made his debut as a Hokie, not as a quarterback. He ran some H-back, a little bit of tight end. He did play quarterback in high school. And when Frank Beamer saw him along with Brian Steinspring, the offensive coordinator, they were looking at him in both positions because they knew he played multiple positions, linebacker, tight end. But when they saw him that night as a high school player, they saw him at quarterback. And on their way back to Blacksburg, Beamer turned to Steinspring and said, you know what? He'd make a great tight end.
Yeah, I think he can play, though.
He'd be a great linebacker.
I think he can play, though.
You're right. Beamer said, I think he can be a great quarterback. And he's having a terrific sophomore season. At the BC 46. Play action, Thomas. Lots of time. Dumps it off. Josh Oglesby to the 42. It's a gain of 4.
Well, BC had the lone touchdown in the first half, but Virginia Tech has come out of the locker room playing much more inspired ball. Wilson on the long run for the touchdown, and then after the pick, pass play into the end zone.
Marcus Davis with that catch. It was Tariq Edwards who made the pick.
And 20 unanswered points by the Hokies.
Logan Thomas is perfect in the second half. He is 7 of 7. BC shows blitz. Quick screen. Cole. He's got a lane. He's 20. Down to the 10. Keithley caught him. 32 yards.
Block one guy, make one guy miss, and you've got some big yardage. Stand up, throw it, block outside. The other guy gets caught inside, and away goes Cole. Great block by DJ Coles on the outside.
They mark it just outside the 11, but Virginia Tech dominating here in the second half. Final seconds of the third quarter on a homecoming weekend in Blacksburg. Cole now 8 catches, 118 yards. Oglesby, who was a blocking fullback last year, his senior year, he finally got promoted to backup running back. And this third quarter is going to evaporate here with Virginia Tech on the move and on top. BC came in and put a scare in this sellout homecoming crowd. Led 7-6 at the half. But the number 12 Hokies have answered. They have dominated the third quarter. On to the fourth, 20-7. And in the second half, it's been all David Wilson and all Virginia Tech as they've stretched their lead to 20-7.
Wilson's yardage kind of pedestrian in the first 2 quarters. He's really picked it up. That touchdown run, hard running. Other times that he's gotten the ball. And Virginia Tech with 20 unanswered points.
Our Sprint Unlimited update. Hokies on the doorstep again. Football at the Boston College 8-yard line. Josh Oglesby in the backfield. Thomas will keep left side. Big man breaks one tackle and then gets plowed by Spencer Rossitano. We talked about Virginia Tech in the red zone, the CPI security red zone look. 21 touchdowns in 38 attempts. And I think if you were to ask Frank Beamer, he'd like to see a lot more touchdowns. And it's one of the things he talked to us about yesterday. He's just said more consistency. He's got a young team. They are 6-1, number 12 in the BCS as Oglesby gets down to the 2. But he said when you've got that young team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, you're just asking for consistency as a head coach.
And I think this will be short. They may measure, but that was a 3rd down rush. And now it will be 4th down, subject to the measurement.
Chains coming on for the measurement. We're just underway in the 4th quarter. If you've happened by, Boston College came out and scored on the first possession of the football game, their first possession of the football game, for a 7-0 lead. That's about an inch short.
Here's a guy right here, Rich, that you got to have on your offensive line. Greg Nozel right there. Redshirt senior out of Virginia Beach. Tore his pinky finger, tore the last digit of his pinky finger off. Took his glove off, gave it to the trainer, played the rest of the ball game. They put the glove in the ice bucket and reattached the digit after the game.
Well, his dad is a Navy commander, so maybe that's no surprise. Straight ahead, I don't know that he's in, but I think he's got the first down. Thomas has the first down, but not the touchdown.
And he got right behind Nozel and Andrew Miller, the big center. Right there to the left.
Straight ahead, touchdown. Thomas is in. And Virginia Tech.
They went over no-sal again that time, didn't they?
Yes, they did. You know, sometimes when a quarterback sneaks it and he is 6'2", 200 pounds, as a linebacker, you can get up there and pop pretty good. But when Logan Thomas keeps it at 6'6", 254, it's hard to keep him out. It's hard to knock him backwards. Virginia Tech's lead now 27-7. I told you Hokie Nation would come through for Logan Thomas. And he has come through here in the second half. As Virginia Tech has put 3 touchdowns on the board. A commanding lead right now. Swigert for Boston College. And Bobby Swigert across the 25 out to the 28-yard line. Injury update on the Virginia Tech defensive side of the ball. Here's Jen Hildreth.
Yeah, Rich, a couple things to tell you about. One, J.R. Collins, sophomore defensive end, had some sutures on his left hand. He's obviously back out there. But Bruce Taylor, leading tackler for this team, linebacker, on the sideline with a boot. They're calling it a sprained right foot, but he was just up and down, walking up, giving guys high fives, gave me a thumbs up as he came back on the field. So you'd hope that boot won't keep him sidelined for too long. He's done for this game, though.
Maybe next time you'll get a high five, too, Jen.
Maybe.
But a thumbs up's pretty good. 1st and 10. Boston College keeps it on the ground. Landon Finch. You know, Keith, Boston College came out and established a running game to start the second half, but they can't afford to just run the football now. They don't have time to do that.
Time is their enemy, as you see updated yardage. And it all started when they got down close and Reddick threw that interception. That's when momentum and everything changed drastically.
It's a 13-7 ball game at that time. Tariq Edwards picked it off inside the 10. Inside Virginia Tech's 10. Reddick is being flushed again. He throws it away. That might be grounding.
No.
Was there someone in the area?
Deuce is right there. He threw it short, but he threw it at him.
J.R. Collins, who Jen just referred to with the sutures, had the pressure.
There's the pressure right up the middle.
Boy, Reddick is going to be one sore quarterback come tomorrow morning.
Collins, a redshirt sophomore out of Stafford, Virginia.
That defensive front has sacked Reddick 4 times. They've hit him numerous times. He's faced with 3rd and 9. Let's see it. They bring the corner, and Reddick flushed, in trouble, looking, throwing, caught. Pentelli, the tight end, has the first down. Now you got to give a lot of credit to Chase Reddick. Peels himself off the ground again. A 19-yard throw. That left arm and left elbow hurting him right now.
Well, let's see how many different directions he goes. There's one to the left. We'll go back to the right. Well, then we'll go up, and then a little right, and then we'll throw the ball.
Well, he got hit by 2 guys.
And that left elbow, that left arm, he was grabbing it.
Virginia Tech showing blitz with a 3-man front. And here they come. Finch busts through, and he's down to the 41-yard line. Derek Hopkins made the stop.
Great vision by Finch. As Bud Foster likes to do, he overloaded one side, which was actually the side that they were running to. And everybody's going to be out this way, and then Finch is going to head back here. Great downfield vision. And again, these are the types of plays, this is the type of effort. You look at this Boston College team, and you really can't believe they're 1-5 coming into this contest.
Finch again, he had to push his guard out of the way. Corey Marshall made the stop. I'm not sure who that was that Finch ran into. Let's take a look.
I believe that was his center, Mark Spiney.
It was. It's a 5-yard pickup. 6 times BC's been inside Virginia Tech territory. They have just the 7 points to show for it. Finch, right tackle this time. No one in his way. He's got a solid 4-yard pickup. Barquell Rivers the stop for the Hokies. The Hokies at 6-1, and they still have hopes of getting to that ACC championship game. In fact, if they win out in the Coastal Division, they're getting some help from the Miami Hurricanes today, as Georgia Tech sits atop the division at 3-1, but Miami has a 21-7 lead in the 3rd quarter in that one. 7th play of this drive. Boston College on the move, but down 27-7. And Finch inside the 20. Rolandon Finch down to the 11. Eddie Whitley made the stop for Virginia Tech.
And Finch seems to be getting stronger and stronger as this ball game goes on. Everybody reaching blocks. And look at that lane right there. They're late getting from the backside, a missed tackle right there, and Whitley, I believe it was, had to come up and make a touchdown saving tackle.
Well, remember, Frank Spaziani told Jen at the half about the running game that they missed some cuts in the first half, and that's where Finch has found his running room, cutting back against the grain. This time he stays with it over right tackle, and a gain of 5. Rivers again with the stop.
Rivers had quad surgery in this spring, I believe it was. He had quad surgery. actually tore his quad while doing a power clean of, oh, I don't know, 370 pounds.
Yeah, that's one of the more bizarre. Well, not bizarre, but just it turns your stomach listening.
That's true. That's true.
Listening to Bud Foster tell that story of the Rivers injury and the quad injury and the sound it made. Andre Williams now in its tailback spot. Reddick on play action, rolling to his right, throwing, and he threw it too high and too hard for Chris Pantelli, the tight end. Eddie Whitley in coverage for Virginia Tech. It's going to bring up third down and a long 6.
I like the call, particularly with the condensed or shortened field here. Use the play action, get the quarterback out on the corner.
There's Foster. Bud's been here a long time. Royals Award winner.
He's actually been here 25 years, same as Beamer, 16 of them as the coordinator.
On third down, Reddick, lots of time, looks back over the middle. Now scrambling, now stopping, now throwing, and it's incomplete. You got to think that Boston College is going to have to go for it here.
Great coverage. That's a coverage play right there. Great coverage by the defensive backfield for Virginia Tech. Good protection, dances around a little bit, nearly squeezes that ball in, but just nowhere to go with it.
Frank Spaziani says, let's go for it on 4th and 6. Reddick 2 of 10 here in the second half for just 24 yards.
They're going to have to hurry to get this play off.
Play clock is down at 3. Reddick sees that and has to take a timeout.
There is a one frustrated head coach.
That says it all for Frank Spaziani. 27-7 Virginia Tech. A little over 9 minutes left in this football game. Boston College had a halftime lead of 7-6. It's been all Virginia Tech here in the second half. 4th down and 6 for BC. Deep in Virginia Tech territory. Chase Reddick in the shotgun. Blitz is coming. Reddick throws. Caught. Touchdown. Chris Pantelli, the tight end. And the BC Eagles stick it in the end zone. Reddick on the mark. Pantelli's first touchdown catch. And that has to make Frank Spaziani feel a little bit better.
This ball was rifled in there.
You know, you can see the things that Boston College likes about Chase Reddick. If he had a little more help, a little more of a ground game. Remember, they lost a good playmaker on the outside. Extra point is up and good. Ifeanyi Moma out with a knee injury. There's his dad all the way from California. 27-14 Virginia Tech. Tradition, the defensive coordinator Bud Foster started the lunch pail. That's the type of defense he likes. It's the type of defense he has. They played well in this one. Virginia Tech has a 27-14 lead. Let's see if Boston College will try the onside kick. Certainly Virginia Tech looks like they're expecting it. And instead, they'll kick it deep through the end zone. And BC is hopeful that their defense can stop and go 3 and out against Virginia Tech and get the ball back. Our ZMAX performance recap. Logan Thomas did not have the best of first half. Neither did David Wilson. But Keith Jones, they have shined here in the second half.
Very much so. The adjustments that were made during the intermission. Thomas has come back, been much more accurate. Delivered that nice pitch at the second level to Wilson for that long touchdown run, the 42-yard one. And you see both of them back on track to have numbers that are representative of what they've done prior.
Now Frank Beamer just wants some first downs. Quick screen out to the right side. Boykin hurdles a tackler at the 25. Lands at the 27. It's a gain of 7. Second down and 3. A look at Beamer, who's had a terrific run. 18 consecutive bowl appearances. 5 BCS bowl games. 7 straight 10-win seasons. As you pointed out early in the show, 3 ACC titles. Wilson, first down and more. May have stepped out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 48. Luke Kuechly got the last piece of him. And the guy that has endless energy, that never gets tired, has worn Boston College down. 22 yards on that carry.
He wears me out listening to others talk about him. Can do backflips, runs and sprints from period to period at practice.
Well, he doesn't do backflips on the practice field. He does backflips on his way to class.
That's what I mean.
In a suit. In a suit with a backpack on. Thomas takes a shot down the field. Davis broken up. Al Lewis Jean on the coverage. Or if you don't believe me, here's a look at David Wilson on his way to class. Look, he's got the nice tie, got the backpack, dress shoes on. Wow.
He's also a triple jumper. Now, that's one thing to be a long jumper, but a triple jumper, you've got to have some speed and some springs.
He's a back flipper. Wilson again, out of the 41-yard line. With more on that, there's Jen Hildreth. Jen?
Well, you guys are talking about my event up there. I bet you didn't know that. I was a triple jumper, too. It's a very awkward-looking event. If you've ever seen it, people call it some sort of a hop, skip, and a jump. But, you know, I asked David if he was ever worried about it on his legs, and he said, no, as long as you do it right, it's not bad, which just tells me I often did it wrong.
Let's see you do it.
Yeah, I mean, we just saw Wilson do the backflip, Jen.
All right, I'll get ready. I got sneakers on. You get a camera to me, I'll try.
All right. So you gotta hold the audience. 3rd and short, and Thomas is to the 40. There's flags that come in after the play. Thomas has got the first down, and we'll see what the penalty is with the flag sitting at the 31-yard line.
Personal foul, face mask, 19 of the defense, 15 yards from the end of the run, automatic first down.
All right, we saw the backflip by David Wilson. Jen, triple jumping.
I know you guys don't really want to see this. Okay, it's basically this, that, but a lot farther, much further away.
That is a...
I did that
the
once.
things I do.
I did that once. I did it once. I fell down a flight of stairs, and that's exactly what I look like.
Now, you were a college safety. I was a college shortstop. Jen was a college soccer player, and I think she's probably the most athletic of us at this point in time. Agreed?
Yes.
Wilson down to the 21-yard line. Our Polaris, hardest working player of the ball game, and it seems like every week Luke Kuechly has enormous tackle totals. 17 tackles in this one. He was leading the ACC by a mere 44 tackles going into this ball game.
Averages 16.5 a contest. Averages right at 14 for his career.
So much so that even Bud Foster yesterday, the defensive coordinator of Virginia Tech, was talking about him. Quick throw from Thomas. Boykin to the 14. When you've got the opposing defensive coordinator talking about you, you know you're a special player.
But what normally happens is coordinators only call out numbers. So defensive coordinators would know the offensive numbers. Offensive coordinators would know the defensive numbers. And you're exactly right. For Bud Foster not only to know another opponent's defensive numbers, but the name and the stats that go with them speaks highly for how much Bud Foster, respects Kuechly.
Wilson bounces it outside, and he's brought down by Manny Asprilla. 5:44 left in this football game, a game in which Boston College led for the entire first half. It's another one of those games, you know, moral victories don't help BC at this point. They lose this game, they go to 1-6. But as Frank Spaziani told us about the Clemson game, You know, he said, hey, at Clemson, we had some good things happen. There were times where we were really clicking. Shotgun for Thomas. He'll keep it. And is brought down Keithley with his 18th tackle at the 6.
One thing you can be assured of when you play a Frank Spaziani coach team: A, they will not quit; B, they will play hard; and C, they will do it week in and week out. As a team normally and most of the time mirrors their leader, and that's exactly what Coach Spaz does and represents.
They've lost arguably the best running back in the conference, Montel Harris, their deep threat, and Ifeanyi Moma. Anthony Costanzo off the offensive line. Wilson. And on this third down, I think the BC defense, ball's loose, but the play was blown dead short of the first down. Steele DeVito with the hit on Wilson. It's going to bring up 4th down and 1, and I think Virginia Tech's going to settle for the 3.
It's DeVito in there, number 49. I think that technically is a fumble since Wilson wasn't down. He was on top of another player.
Tough to see where his knee was. 24-yard field goal attempt for Cody Jornell. With 3:49 left in the ball game. And Jornell knocks it home. His 3rd. And Virginia Tech more points. They stretch the lead to 30-14. For Clemson, a terrific win over North Carolina. Wake Forest had to come from behind to beat Duke. Florida State right now, and the 4th is up comfortably over Maryland. NC State and Virginia in a tight one in the 4th, and Miami has stretched their lead over number 22 Georgia Tech to 24-7. Here in Blacksburg, 30-14. That one off the crossbar. 3:43 left. Coors Light freeze cam. We'll talk defense. Hard-hitting defense. That one, Colin Larmond meeting up with Antone Exum. Our Coors Light freeze cam.
And it has been a hard-hitting ball game on both sides of the ball.
Justin Meyer with that deep kick, but there's a flag.
Offsides. 34, the kicking team. 5 yards, re-kick.
Now, did any time escape from the clock?
No, because it would not have started until the ball was touched by the receiving team.
And so Frank Beamer all the way out. He prides himself on special teams.
You can get in his doghouse real quick like. But you mess up in that area of the ball.
But you know what? If you're a young player, you can get yourself into the starting lineup on either side of the ball if you sparkle.
Yes, you can.
On his special team.
Yes, you can.
Justin Meyer again. This time from his own 25. That's another impressive kick. It sends Evans 3 yards deep, and he'll race it out to the 20. Not quite there, and he's spilled and wrapped up and dropped. Derek DiNardo out of Virginia Beach.
Nice job by DiNardo. Although I do like Spiffy's name.
A terrific football name, Spiffy Evans. Just needs to make a few more big plays. So if you're Boston College, you've got 3:38 left. Down by 2 scores. That would be 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions. Larmon the catch. Ball is
The
loose,
fumble.
and it's picked up. Virginia Tech has it. Derek Bonner with the recovery.
And again, remind you, Bonner getting the start because Jaron Hosley, who led the nation in interceptions with 9 last year, out for this game.
And that one came out before his knee hit the ground. Ball sits at the 23-yard line of Boston College.
I don't suspect you'll see anything that's too fancy. They may be reviewing this one as well. No, timeout, Boston College.
Charge timeout, Boston College.
They may be calling timeout.
30-second timeout.
Get their defense a breather and get them organized as they come right back on the field.
Challenging the ruling on the field that there was a fumble.
Wow, they are going to challenge that was a fumble. If they lose this challenge, they will lose a timeout. Remember, we talked about it in the first half. In the college game, the officials review the plays from the booth, but each coach has the ability, if he thinks that there is a call that he wants reviewed and the game is going to pass that call by, that's clearly a fumble.
In my opinion, yes.
I guess the only other question would be, was it a reception? And he clearly had 2 or 3 steps before it popped out. If a coach feels that a play is going to be run and the play won't be able to be reviewed, he can stop the game for a review. And if he loses that,
he loses that timeout.
Exactly.
And does not have the ability to challenge anymore. And I think it's 1 per half. But because they review so many, there's not a lot of that actually happens.
You're right. You rarely see this. You rarely see a coach use this. Yeah, it's out, and the knee had yet to hit the ground. Antone Exum. Dietrich Bonner, the freshman, recovered it. Dietrich Bonner, as you pointed out, getting the start with Hosley and a hamstring injury on the shelf. Virginia Tech will go on the road and take on Duke next weekend. Boston College stays on the road, and they've had Clemson, they've had Virginia Tech, and they get Maryland on the road next week. So 3 road games in a row for BC.
And remember my theory, the longer this takes, the more likely they're reversing it. So that I think it clearly was a fumble. Question was it a reception?
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Boston College is charged with a timeout. They've lost their opportunity to challenge for the remainder of the game. It's first down.
So there goes that theory.
You were 1 for 2 on that theory.
Hey, I'm getting better.
Tony Gregory is in the ball game at the tailback spot for Virginia Tech. Logan Thomas still in at quarterback. And Gregory to the right side out of the 20-yard line. It's a gain of 3. And there is a Boston College player that is down. Jim Noel, the corner. Boston College has had injuries on the defensive side of the ball as well. C.J. Jones, a sophomore defensive back, they lost him for the year.
Caleb Ramsey is out. Josh Keys is out.
And we told you about the injuries on the offensive end. Not only Montel Harris out, but Ifeanyi Moma, Anthony Costanzo off the offensive line, and then the illness to Kevin Rogers, their offensive coordinator, who's been gone since week 2.
And Nathan Richmond, who was slotted to see some considerable playing time. Of course, the guy right here,
Kuechly, is in on the tackle.
He just gets rolled up right there.
Kuechly may be closing in on 20 tackles now. He's got 19 tackles.
That would be closing in.
Do you think he's coming back next year? Many people feel he's a first-round draft pick.
That becomes the question, and certainly depending upon his mentality, a less than successful year for the team could be a reason to leave, could be a reason to stay.
Yeah, he's a special guy out of Cincinnati, kind of a tweener when they recruited him. But boy, did it pay off big.
Well, he's not a tweener now.
No. He's an All-American.
No question.
Certainly a guy that has got to be one of the front runners for the Butkus Award.
They may rename it.
the Keekly. Again, it's Gregory. He's close to the first down to the 13-yard line. Bud Foster talking to his defense. The ACC standings, and these are up to the minute with the Clemson win. Wake Forest comeback win over Duke. Duke has got to be feeling like, hey, a little bit snake bit as well. Miami trying to even their record. They have a lead late, 24-7 against Georgia Tech. Wake Forest with a nice win at Duke. Wake Forest now at 5-2. And a nice season, a bounce-back season for Jim Grove and the Demon Deacons. They had a lead slip away against Virginia Tech last week.
I really like that Wake team now that they've got Givens on the outside that gives them a little threat down the field. But by all accounts, and I don't think it's any stretch of the imagination, Clemson is the surprise team of the ACC.
Georgia Tech seems to have fallen back to earth with a loss last week, and it looks like they're headed to a loss in Miami against the Hurricanes today. Gregory straight ahead. There's a couple things going on here. You know that this is a very prideful defense, especially with Keekly in the middle. They don't want to give up another score here. And as well, Frank Beamer, a very classy coach, as classy as they come, hasn't put it up, has kept it simple, straight ahead.
And we do have a BC player down, and I think from a play calling standpoint, that will continue for that very reason.
Dan Williams from Boston College on his way off to the sideline. This was, remember, a 7-6 game at the half. And this was the big play, the Honda Generators power play of the game. Now Wilson gets credit for a 42-yard run. But Keith, the pitch and the move by Logan Thomas, that's deserving of some mention in this scoring play.
Well, if it were hockey, he'd get an assist. That's how that works, right?
Yes, he would.
That soccer game on ice escapes me a lot of the time.
He would certainly figure in the scoring on that one, but Wilson took it in from 42 yards. Wilson ends up at 134 yards. Remember, it didn't look like he was going to come close to that.
29 in the first half,
yeah.
maybe?
And so Wilson now 7 100-yard games, and this is game number 8 for Virginia Tech.
Actually, they're going to go even classier than running the ball.
I like this. This shows a lot of respect. We got that vibe when we talked to Coach Beamer, when we talked to Bud Foster, the respect they had for Boston College and that coaching staff. These two staffs, there's a lot of continuity on both sides of the ball. They know each other very well.
And there's your first 1,000-yard rusher in the ACC in the 2011 campaign.
And what a second half for David Wilson, as he goes over 100 yards in the second half and finishes at 134. It was quite a fight. Boston College gave it all they had, but Virginia Tech just too much talent. And a big second half from that man, David Wilson. Logan Thomas was sharp in the second half as well. He finishes 22 of 36 for 268 yards. Let's go down to Jen Hildreth and Coach Beamer.
Thank you, Rich. Coach, you told me at halftime that you needed to get back to playing your game. What did that entail, and do you feel you did it?
Well, I think we got to get David Wilson hit touches, and I think we're developing this thing where we can throw the ball and we can run the ball, and you get that balance. That's exactly what we're looking for. But we got to make sure we always get David Wilson his touches.
Well, he went up over 1,000 for the season today. What makes him such a special back?
Well, he runs with great energy. Number one, he's just strong and he's fast. And Oglesby does a good job for us too. Then Tony Gregory there at the end, he got made a couple of nice runs.
And Logan, talk about his development as a quarterback.
He's coming along. He probably missed some today he'd like to have back. But, Logan, he's always in control. That's what I like about him. He's always in control. He never gets out of sorts. And he's just a great leader and a great quarterback for Virginia Tech.
All right, we'll get him back over here hopefully in a second. Congratulations, Coach. Rich?
Thanks, Jen. And Keith, now 7-1 for Virginia Tech. They keep the momentum.
And I think that they've done a great job after a couple of 3 games of slow starts. I think that's the one thing that more than anything that they would like to get corrected as they go into the latter third of this season. But you look at their stats, over 200 yards rushing, 200 yards passing, nearly 500 for the game.
Logan Thomas, 22 of 36, 268, a touchdown. He rushed for a touchdown, and he's down with Jen Hildreth. Jen?
All right, Logan, I've got to ask you, what did the coaches say to you guys at halftime? You look like a different team in the second half moving the ball.
Kind of the same thing they said to us after last week's first quarter. They just said, keep grinding, keep working, and things will pan out, and they did.
Helps for you to be able to hand off to number 4, doesn't it?
Of course. I give him the ball, and he makes the excitement happen as he did tonight.
Well, what do you think is the next step for this offense and for you?
Getting started quicker. We're taking too long to get started, and we're trying to play catch up the whole time. And I think if we get off to a quicker start, it won't put as much pressure on us throughout the game.
Can you put your finger on why that's been happening to you guys, the slow starts?
I guess it's kind of like boxers trying to feel each other out. And once they feel each other out, they just go at it. And I think that's kind of what we've been doing, but instead we just got to go attack.
You may not have gotten in the first punch. You got the last one today, though. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, Rich, let's go back to you.
Thank you, Jen. Yeah, certainly the first one was struck by Boston College as they scored first and had a halftime lead 7-6. But this certainly is a Virginia Tech team that has the looks of a team that could run the table and end up in that ACC championship game. Here are the final stats. Partner, what jumps out at you?
Well, again, repeating myself, the over 200 yards rushing and passing, that's the diversity and the balance that Coach Beamer was talking about. Third down conversions, very good from the offensive standpoint. 76 plays, that's quite a large number for Virginia Tech. And probably the biggest thing, circling my graphics, those 2 turnovers by BC. That one in the beginning of the third quarter as big as anything, because it took points off of the board, and Virginia Tech immediately took the ball back down and scored.
Virginia Tech has 2 road games coming up, at Duke, at Georgia Tech, and then they finish with North Carolina and on the road against Virginia. We'll have next week's Boston College game at Maryland. And so the Hokies, number 12 in the BCS, who knows? After the day is done, maybe they'll move up a spot or 2. They are at 7-1, 3-1 in the ACC. Boston College, another tough loss. They fall to 1-6. A successful homecoming for Bud Foster's defense and Frank Beamer's Hokies. For Keith Jones and Jen Hildreth, our entire ACC crew, I'm Rich Waltz. The Hokies come from behind and win it 30-14.